Hello students. In the last class we were discussing in the chapter proposal how Natalia and Lomov were having a heated argument on the issue of whose dog was better, whether it was Lomov's guess or Natalia's squeezer which was better. And Lomov had said that Natalia's squeezer was not a thoroughbred animal and it was overshot. It was not a good hunter because his lower jaw was shorter than his upper jaw, and they were having a heated argument over it. We see here that he says that Lomov is saying that he's old. His own dog, that is Guess, is old, but still he is not ready to take 5 squeezers in exchange of it. That is how Guess is better. And it is totally funny or hilarious to argue about Squeezer being better. Anybody whom you like has a dog as good as a Squeezer, you may find them under every bush almost. And he also goes on to say that dogs like Squeezer are found roaming about anywhere like that. You don't even have to pay 25 rubles even. That would be enough price for you to get them easily. You should not even be uh, required to pay 85 rubles here. There is some demon of contradiction in you today. And as soon as this is said by Lomov, then Natalia did not take this argument in a good way, and she is blaming Lomov for being a demon of contradiction. That today he is contradicting each and every argument about that Natalia has made. Ivan Vasilevich, and now in the heat of argument, in anger, she calls the name of Lomov. First, you pretend that the meadows are yours. So earlier you were declaring and you were saying that the meadows, Oxen meadows, were yours, and now you are saying that the guess is better than Squeezer. That means your dog is better than uh, mine. I don't like people who don't say what they mean. That means you are a hypocrite. You are not saying what you really mean. You know very well Squeezer is better, but then also you are pretending that Guess is better because you know perfectly well that Squeezer is 100 times better than your silly guess. You know that when somebody is not talking rationally and they are in love with their dogs, they would keep on arguing on the issues. Lomo. I see, Natalia, that you consider me either blind or a fool. Am I a blind person or a fool that I would consider Squeezer to be good? You must realize that Squeezer is overshot. And no doubt he says logically that he is overshot, he is not a good hunter, and so he is not a good dog. And Natalia is rejecting this. She is saying it's not true. Lomo, he is. He is not true. It is not true. Why should shout, madam? And then because she has started shouting, he is saying that don't shout. Why talk rot? And she is also saying that then why are you talking rotten? Otherwise I will shout. It's awful. It's awfully bad. It's time your guess was shot. He should be shot dead. And you compare him with Squeezer. And how can you ever compare your dog Guess with my dog Squeezer? Excuse me, I cannot continue this discussion. My heart is palpitating. And we know very well that Lomo, because as soon as he becomes nervous, as soon as he becomes angry, his heart starts palpitating. There's an irregular heartbeat. Natalia, I have noticed that those hunters argue most who know least. So again, she is not stopping and she is taunting at him that he is not knowing anything and still he is making statements. Lomo, madam, please be silent. My heart is going to pieces. I am not feeling good. Please shut up. Natalia, I shall not shut up until you acknowledge that Squeezer is 100 times better than Guess. So you have to accept before I stop. Lomo, 100 times worse, I would say. I would never consider 100 times better. Be hanged to your squeezer, his head, eyes, and shoulder. So it is never true, and squeezer is never good enough. Whether you consider his head, eyes, and shoulder, he should actually be hanged. There is no need to hang your silly guess. He is half dead already. And she says that your dog is not to be hanged even, to kill. He is already half dead. Lomo starts weeping. My heart is bursting. So he, because of his physical problem, physical pain, he is not able to bear. He starts weeping and he declares that his heart is bursting. I shall not shut up. Now, who enters? Shubuko. Earlier, Shubuko had left. Now he re-enters. Let us see if he joins the conversation or not. Shubuko, what's the matter now? Earlier you were fighting over oxen meadows. Now what has happened? Papa, tell us truly what is the which is the better dog, our squeezer or his guess? Lomo, I implore you to tell me just one thing. Is your squeezer overshot or not? And Lomo is trying to talk logically. He's saying, just tell me one thing. Isn't your squeezer overshot? And if he is overshot, he's not a good hunter, and then he is not a good dog. Shubuko. And suppose he is, what does it matter? So in a way, he is accepting it. Still, he is saying he is the best dog in the district for all that and so on. And he goes on to saying that he is the best dog not only here in comparison to guests, but in the whole district and so on. But isn't my guess better? Really? Now? But Lomo was sticking to his guess. So because he's overshot, isn't mine better? Don't excite yourself, my precious one. Allow me. Your guess certainly has his good points. It's not that he's altogether bad. He is purebred. He is a thoroughbred one, pure breed. Firm on his feet, strong, has well sprung ribs, he has nicely formed ribs and all that. So bodily, if we talk about, there are some good points, no doubt, these are the good points. But still, my dear man, if you want to know the truth, that dog has two defects. Your dog also has two defects. He is not good. How? He is old and he is short in the muzzle. The first problem with your dog is that he is old. The second is that he is short in the muzzle. Muzzle means that it is the nose and mouth of an animal. So this part is short. Lomo, excuse me, my heart. Let's take the facts. Please don't say anything. Consider the facts. You will remember that on the Marusinski hunt, my guess ran neck to neck with the Count's dog. Count is a nobleman, a very rich nobleman, very respectable one. And my dog ran neck to neck with the Count's dog, while your squeezer was left a whole worst behind. While your squeezer was left behind. And whole worst means worst, like we say, it is a unit of distance, of length. So as we say 1 kilometer, 1 meter, etc., etc. Here also a whole worst behind he was left. So he is not good at competing. He got left behind because the Count's whip in hit him with his whip. Shubukov is giving the explanation that actually Squeezer was left behind because the Count's whipper, that means the one who whips or beats these dogs with the whip, beated him with his whip, and that is why he was left behind. Lomo, and with good reason. The dogs are running after a fox. when Squeezer goes and starts worrying a sheep. Now Lomov is saying that the dogs, all the other dogs were actually running after a fox. And your Squeezer, he is not good at all at running and hunting. He was just worrying a sheep. See how lazy and incompetent dog yours is. It's not true, my dear fellow. I am very liable to lose my temper. If you keep on criticizing like this, I will lose my temper. And so, just because of that, let's stop arguing. And you started because everybody is always jealous of you, of everybody else's dogs. Okay. Yes, we are all like that. You too, sir, aren't blameless. You no sooner begin with this, that, and the other, and all that. I remember everything. Now, gradually, Shubukov is also losing his temper. I'm very liable to lose my temper, he's already saying. And he is warning that Lomo, please stop arguing. Now he's also saying and blaming that you started because everybody is always jealous of others' dogs. Now he's telling about a tendency of these dog keepers. They are jealous of each other. And that is why you are also like that. You no sooner begin with this, that, and the other. You have also started blaming for this reason or that reason or some other reason. And I remember everything. So you don't do it, I remember everything. Lomov is also saying, I also remember too. Shubukov, teasing. I remember too. What do you remember? Now trying to dig on more things of the past and now creating more and more problems. My heart, my foot's gone to sleep. I can't. But you know, Lomo has another problem. His heart is bursting, his heart is paining, irregular heartbeat, and his foot has gone numb. So he is not feeling good. Still, he is arguing here, though he is physically not at ease. Natalia, my heart. What sort of a hunter are you? You ought to go and lie on the kitchen oven and catch black beetles, not go after foxes, my heart. Now Natalia is teasing him. My heart, you are again and again saying my heart. And you claim yourself to be a hunter. You are such a person who is not even physically strong. You should go in the kitchen and you should lie in the kitchen oven and you should catch black beetles. And instead of hunting, you should better catch small insects like beetle. So we can see here how Natalia is actually criticizing him a lot, and here she is not sparing him even after he is not feeling well. Yes, really, even Shubukov has joined him. What sort of a hunter you are? You are not even a good hunter. You ought to sit at home with your palpitations and not go tracking animals. You could go hunting, but you only go to argue with people and interfere with their dogs and so on. Let's change the subject in case I lose my temper. He has already lost his temper and he is warning him that I will lose my temper. You are not a hunter at all. So both Natalia and Shubukov have declared that he is not a hunter because he is physically also not strong. He has palpitations, and how can he track and chase the animals? You could go hunting, but you only go to argue with people. And even if you go for hunting, you are only going there to argue with people and to interfere with their dogs, to criticize their dogs, and so on. Let's now change the subject now again. So in this way we see how Natalia and Shubukov are criticizing and declaring that even Lomov, you are not a good hunter at all. Better you should do some mean jobs than going for hunting. I hope students you have understood this part of the chapter. Read and revise it well.